So I want to say a quick thank you to all you guys that have subscribed to the channel and watched my videos so far. As you guys may have noticed, there's some ads that are now appearing on the videos, and that is because we reached the monetized status on YouTube. Big step, first really big step in the YouTubing here. Took about 6 months to get there, so I'm pretty happy with that so far. Really appreciate you guys, and I hope to be able to bring you guys some more content, some more entertaining content here in the very near future with that. I've got a couple plans with the Corvette to start with. As always, those thumbs up really do help these videos, so if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that button. Subscribe if you hadn't already, and go ahead and leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to see next, and we'll do our best to bring it to you. So without further ado, here's the rest of the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about my 2001 Corvette, what I've done to it so far, and what I'd like to see happen with it in the future, what my plans are with it, and I want to solicit some of your input on exactly how that plan's going to go and what you think. Well, we've got a couple things done to the Corvette already, obviously, as you know. If you haven't seen all the videos so far, feel free to check them out. I think it's come a long way from where it was. It's become a very nice daily driver. There's a couple things I'd really like to tweak on it to make it a little bit better. As you guys may know, and you may have heard in some of my previous videos, this car is a little droney on the highway. Obviously it's got the long tube headers, straight pipes, and just the Borla attack mufflers on the back, no catalytic converters. Under load, it can be pretty noisy inside this car. On the trunk of these cars, if you guys haven't seen them before, this whole back pan, the whole trunk area, is really just a very thin fiberglass tub. Corvettes, at least the C5s, are balsa wood floors with polymer on top and bottom. Apparently does really good with sound absorption, vibrations, very light, very stiff. But when we come back, you know, behind the wheels, this whole tub, it's just very thin fiberglass. There's no balsa wood, there's no sound insulation. You can see under the carpet here, there's a little piece of foam and then just fiberglass. That is all that's separating the outside noises from inside noises. And with these Borla mufflers down here, there's definitely some outside noises. So that said, my plan is to get some Dynamat, either the Amazon brand stuff, because they have very similar stuff through the Amazon Basics brand, or the True Dynamat branded sound deadening mat. I want to put that down in the back here, kind of this whole tub. Hopefully bring down the volume a couple decibels and make it a lot more tolerable inside without really making anything not fit or without adding a lot of weight. So that's one of my first plans on this car, just to make it a little bit more livable, a little more refined, and still kind of keep that aggressive sound outside. One of my next biggest complaints with this car is really the suspension. Now, this car has the F45 suspension here that allows me to set it and change it. It's got about 120,000 miles on it now. I know at least the rears have been replaced. I don't know if the fronts ever have. The system's kind of worn out. It does change a noticeable amount between settings, but the car kind of keeps the same character, and most of that is a lot of body roll, especially when I'm getting into corners, you know, acceleration, braking. It's really changing the line of the car, and I don't like that a whole lot. When I had obviously my 986 Boxster, it was very locked in. It had the coilovers, and it was a scalpel. It went exactly where you wanted. This car has got immensely better with the new wheels and tires. It does a lot sharper, but it still is kind of vague and kind of changes that line, you know, with that big engine up front and the body roll the car has. The car is very comfortable, and I don't really want to change that. So that's a very fine line to walk, and I acknowledge that. Most of the coilover kits out there reduce the travel of the wheel, and that's reasonable for a more performance-oriented drive, but to still be able to drive it on the road and be comfortable, sometimes that's counter to the goal, right? It's not exactly helpful. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with upgrading the sway bars, front and rear, and some of the connectors, and go through the bushings and make sure all that stuff's tightened up. I want to eliminate body roll if I can, and still keep my suspension travel and suspension action the way it is. I'm hoping that will give me the adequate balance of sharper handling, especially cornering, and still highway drivability and overall comfort while driving the car. That shouldn't be too terribly expensive or difficult, but I'll go ahead and bring that to you here. Let me know what you think. Obviously, this car also has leaf springs front and rear. I've also considered upgrading to the Z06 leaf springs. It's a direct swap in. It's just a little heavier spring. It's not a big change in this car, but that with the sway bars might give me the ride I'm looking for without sacrificing some of the on-road touring qualities of this car. And of course, no list like this would be complete without talking about more power. So what I hope to do with this car is really not reinvent the wheel. I'm not hoping to make this a fire-breathing monster. I don't want it to be so undrivable that it just absolutely chews up tires, kills the clutch, and gets me 4 miles per gallon everywhere I go. That's not the kind of car I want. It's not a race car. I want it to be able to take it to the track and have some fun, but really I want this to be a drivable car, a sporty drivable car. If you guys remember the clutch videos I did right in the early part of this channel, this car was dyno tuned at the time when the new LS7 clutch got put in it. The horsepower numbers and torque numbers for the stock car with as many miles as it has was actually pretty impressive. I can't lie about that. It put me somewhere around, to the wheels, 330, 340 horsepower, something in that ballpark. And I'm thinking if I can bump up the power to about 400 horsepower on the rear wheels, I think that'll put me about where I want to be. It'll be sporty enough. It's not going to be that detrimental to the drive line. I'm not going to be going through tires really a whole lot faster, and my fuel economy shouldn't suffer a whole lot to get there. This car already has the long tube headers done. I want to go ahead and probably just do heads and cam on the car. I think that'll be enough of a power bump to get me where I want to go with a new tune. I don't really plan on going forced induction or anything crazy like that. I know a lot of people that have done it. It comes with its own added challenges, and I don't really want to tackle that. I just want some reliable, somewhat economical power that just makes this thing a little bit more fun to drive than it was from stock. As far as some of the cosmetics go, there's a few little changes I want to make to this car to kind of bring it up to where I think it should be. The car itself, I really like the design of. The pop-up headlights are awesome. I don't want to get rid of them. I do, however, want to change them to the sleepy eye headlights. If you guys have seen, Night Drive TV actually has a really cool set of 3 and 3 bulb LED with, you know, little halos around them, sleepy eye headlights. I think that's a really cool way to bring this into, you know, a little bit more modern of a car, but still keep that pop-up functionality. And that's definitely something I plan to try, as well as changing the front marker light. You guys have seen them on the channel before. They're old, oxidized. Most C5s have this problem. I do plan on changing those out. There's the laser light LED, you know, sequential turn signal models that I've seen that I think look really sharp, especially with the sleepy eye LED headlights. I think will make a really cool addition to this car, and that's definitely something I want to add. As far as the front end goes, I don't know if I'm going to add a chin skirt on it. It drags enough as is on the ground, which is one of the reasons I'm not lowering the car. So I'll kind of keep the idea open of putting the chin skirt on there just to make it look a little bit more finished. They're not very expensive, so that might happen. Let me know what you guys think there. Rounding out the rear of the car, you guys have seen I've already done obviously the halo wrap on the back. I've done the spoiler back here that's black, and I really like the way that's turned out. One thing I want to do is on this bottom edge of the car, I want to go ahead and get one of the rear diffusers that's sold for the vehicle. I think it's a cool addition. One, just having a black piece down there, even if it was just this being wrapped or painted black, I think would be, you know, balancing to the rear of the car. So I do want to get something like that done. I've seen the rear diffusers that add on to this that I think would really change the back end to be just a little unique without being overboard, and that's kind of what I want for the car, so that's probably going to happen as well. While we're back here, these tail lights, obviously the classic Corvette oval tail lights, love them. This is my favorite tail light of all the Corvettes. Doesn't look like a Camaro, it is very distinctly Corvette. I do want to get the halo LED tail lights. If you guys have seen those, has the running lights being just the halo around the bulb, and then the center lights up for the turn signal and brake light. Again, just little things that kind of make it a little bit more modern looking while still being distinctly Corvette, distinctly C5. That's kind of what I'm going for. Well guys, that's my list. That's my kind of in the next couple months laundry list of things I want to do to this car. Again, let me know if you guys think I've missed anything. Let me know if you have any thoughts on the things I've mentioned so far. Hoping to bring you guys some more entertaining content. I want to do some more cool stuff to the cars. Hope to bring you guys along with me when I'll do that. Give this video a thumbs up. It does really help us out. Lets us do some of these cool things. Appreciate you guys subscribing. And as always, stay tuned because we'll be back with you next week.